Now, 1879. 1879 is a wonderful year. It was a year that the projector was invented. But tonight, what we're going to talk about projection. Projection has been around way before 1879. But projection is a way for moving one thing from one place to another. Think about going into a drive-in movie to watch a movie on a big screen. The image is being projected from the camera onto the screen. Or going to the movie theater to watch a movie on the big screen. That is an example of projection. But we're going to talk about psychological projection. What is projection? What is psychological projection? It is a defense mechanism that involves attributing one's own feelings, desires, or qualities onto another person, a group of people, or an animal, or an object. So that is projection. Psychological projection, again, is the way for one person to take their feelings, desires, or qualities and project it onto another person or a group of people or an animal, maybe a pet or an object. For an example, it is like a loudmouth bully that will say to you, "Hey, tone your voice down. Be quiet. Speak with your soft voice." While on the other hand, that same person is quick to scream at you. That is an example of projection, psychological projection. Now, oftentimes, we know that we'll be talking to someone and they are saying things to you that is kind of weird to you. You feel a bit uncertain of what they're saying to you. They're trying to make you feel unsure of who you are. So I'm going to give you 5 signs, 5 examples to look out for of projection. Number 1, when someone is adamantly accusing you of something without proof, which they know is not in your character. Again, I'll repeat. When someone is adamantly accusing you of something without proof, which they know is not in your character, that is projection. So if you've met anyone, spoken to anyone, it could be a family member, it could be a friend, and you notice something about them, yet they are not accepting what you or others are noticing about them, but yet and still they attempt to move those feelings and desires onto you. That is how you know that they are projecting. So That's something to look out for. Okay? Now let's move on to number 2. Number 2 of projection, psychological projection. When someone is having a difficult time, or when someone is having a difficulty being objective and is showing clear signs of being disinterested in what you're saying, is a defense mechanism. He or she, they may be projecting. So look out for that. Again, let me repeat that. When someone is having a difficulty being objective and is showing clear signs of being disinterested in what you're saying in your defense, he or she might be displaying projection. Again, that could be someone you've known for a very long time. It could be someone that you've just met. But these are clear signs of knowing when someone is projecting. Okay? Now, we all know that we'll meet people, someone we care about, someone we may love, have affection for. And over time, knowing that person, we will see that things may be strange. You're kind of wondering what's going on. You're unclear, unsure of what's going on. And you begin to question yourself. You're wondering, am I crazy? You're wondering, is someone or is this person trying to make me feel unsure of myself, causing insecurities within you? Are signs to look out for, because it's a psychological ambush on your person, on your mentality, on your psyche. Okay? So let's move on to number 3. Psychological projection or projection. When a person uses a defense mechanism called gaslighting. Now, we know that gaslighting, for those of you who don't know, gaslighting is when one person will tell you that your eyes are not seeing what it is seeing. They will tell you that you're crazy for seeing something and them not wanting you to actually acknowledge what you're seeing, so they begin to gaslight you in an attempt to make you feel guilty for something they did. It is definitely a form of projection. So gaslighting is an example of projection. So please be careful when you're speaking with someone and they begin to tell you that what you're seeing with your eyes is not what's really in front of you. Psychological projection, or just simply projection. Gaslighting is used by many people in many facets of life. It is one of the age-old way for people to create turmoil in another person. Now, those of us that may have a spouse that gone out there and did something besides the relationship, causing contention in the relationship, like go out there and do something that create distrust, and you're unsure of what's going on, but you suspect something, and the person is saying, nothing is going on. You're crazy. What you're seeing is not what you're seeing. It is creating this uncertainty inside of you. You want to break down and cry. You go talk to a family member, you go talk to a friend and say, hey, I think my husband, or I think my wife, or I think my girlfriend is doing something. I don't know what it is, but I just feel it. You could be wrong, or you could be right. There is such thing as a gut feeling. We all have that. We all share that same innate ability to have discernment and gut feeling. So when someone is telling you that what you're seeing with your own eyes is not what you're seeing with your own eyes, it is gaslighting, and that is definitely a form of projection. So let's move on to number 4. When a person knowingly denies a negative quality in his or herself, let me repeat that. When a person knowingly denies a negative quality in his or herself by seeing it in another person, even when it isn't really there. Let me repeat that again, because I know many of us have experienced that. So let me repeat number 4 again. When a person knowingly denies a negative quality in his or herself by seeing it in another person, that, my friend, you have to look out for. Now, even when this person that you know could be someone that you're close to right now is denying a negative quality within themselves, you see it, friends see it, other family member sees it, but yet this particular person is denying it. That is definitely projection. So, I want you to really listen to this again, because when I was working on this piece, number 4 really stood out to me. When a person knowingly denies a negative quality in his or herself by seeing it in another person, even when it isn't really there, said person is definitely projecting. That is psychological projection. Okay? So let's move on. I like this because it's therapeutic when you sit and write. Even for me, when I sit and write something, maybe something that I've been thinking for a long time, and I said, this could really help someone. And I would sit down and I would go over it, and I would say, hey, I think I'm going to put this together. Because why? I want to help people while helping myself, because when you learn, you think about what you learn, and then you can speak on it. Learn, think, say. So let's move on to number 5. Projecting. Projecting means that someone will continue to be an innocent victim. Again, projecting means someone will continue to be an innocent victim as a way to overcome a guilty conscience. Now, this goes along the line of narcissism. Narcissistic people will use number 5 all the time. They will and are always the innocent victim. They're always crying victimhood. They will always see something in you which is in them. If you call them out on it, they will say you are the person that's that way. And they will start crying, maybe start yelling, because why? They are the victim. They're innocent, and you are victimizing them. So look out for these type of people. Again, number 5, projecting means that someone will continue to be an innocent victim. Continue to be an innocent victim as a way to overcome a guilty conscience. This might be someone in your family. This might be a friend. We'll always meet these kind of people. And I can speak with certainty that every one of us out there, all of us, have met someone like this, or today know someone like this. So be careful out there, my friends. Be careful out there. So this came together because I was speaking to my daughter. And I will talk about how the second part, which I'm going to get into, is how I came up with this. 2 words, putting 2 words together to create a way of helping people realizing and overcoming certain challenges. So while I was speaking to my little one, she was explaining something to me about a couple of friends of hers and what one friend did to one of her friends, and she now sees it being done to another friend. So while hanging around with both friends, she noticed that a friend of hers that had experienced a bad situation with someone he was dating, and that feeling, that treatment became a fixture in his personality. And so now he starts dating someone else. And unconsciously, he begins to do it to the person that he started dating. He started treating her the way his ex was treating him. And that made me said to her, hey, that is projection. What happened to him, he's now projecting it onto her. And the part now that I'm going to get into is called affixation. Affixation is like taking a sticker and sticking it to the wall, glue and bonding 2 pieces of paper, wood, metal together. 2 chains being coupled together. They are fixed together. So, when something become a fixture in someone's personality, they tend to not realize that it's there I myself am guilty of that. By no stretch am I innocent of that. And we all have experienced that. Once something is done to us repeatedly, it becomes a part of who we are. It becomes a fixture in our essence. We can definitely combat it. We can definitely work through it once we're aware and take accountability, but it's a hard feat. It's a hard road to travel, a high hill to climb when something becomes a fixture in you. It's like a bad habit that you can't break. But accountability can definitely help you to break an affixation. So when something is a fixture and a fixation, it becomes a part in you. It's fastened in you. It's a link. It's now your soul. It's your essence. So when my little one was speaking to me, it prompted me to put the word projection and affixation together. And so I came up with the concept of projection, affixation. Together, projection, affixation means, let me put it in simple terms. When one person projects who they are onto you, a person that was never that way, you now are accepting or receiving, not willingly, but you're accepting and receiving what's projected onto you. In the beginning, I said 1879, when the camera was first invented. Projecting an image from a camera onto a screen or a wall, and now we can sit and watch it and enjoy ourselves. A person can do that exact same thing with who they are, their essence projected onto someone else. And once that essence is projected onto someone else long enough, it could be a trauma that happened, right? An experience that happened that you can't overcome. It become a fixture, a fixation in you, and you end up with that psychological projection, a fixation. And when I really think about it, I wonder to myself, how many of us in this world of 7 billion plus people are dealing with projection, a fixation? How can we overcome our affixation? There is a word that many of us know. Well, it's actually two words. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. Some of you out there may know what Stockholm Syndrome is. If you don't, grab your phones, grab your computer, and look it up. Stockholm Syndrome is when someone can get taken away, or something traumatic happened in their lives. But what happens to this person that this thing happened to is that the person that did it to them, caused them to go through that trauma, they now start advocating for, start protecting, try to make sure no one is accusing them of anything. They come in the defense of the person that did this traumatic thing to them. That is called Stockholm Syndrome. Whatever happened to them became an affixation in their essence. Who the person is or was that did whatever it is to them, projected their essence onto them, and it became an affixation. So, for those of you out there, and anyone that sees this, remember this term, and it will help you to realize, or it will help you to identify when you see someone or experiencing someone projecting onto you. Be careful that it doesn't become an affixation. Learn, think, say. Learn what's happening to you. Think about what's happening to you and speak on it. That's the say. However you do that, whether you need help from someone or you can handle it yourself, you do the best to make sure that someone else's negative essence don't become an affixation in your essence. Look out for projection, affixation, and make sure you're vigilant that it does not happen to you and you now become a victim of projection, affixation. I'm happy that everyone out there can enjoy their lives and peace of mind, but still be vigilant. Protect yourself, protect your heart, protect your mind, protect your soul. Thank you. Think and say. See you guys.